Is in one color and texture, and
Like this.
well, yeah, for
These are already lime.
yeah, limestone, yeah. For a geologic map, the symbol for limestone is the our yellow colored brick, the yellow colored brick texture. In the way alternating alternating tiles. So and you'll see for the geologic map of Baguio, most of it has that yellowish brick texture
Hindi lang maganda yung
indicating
plan ng bahay, ano.
limestone. So here, the limestone here, most limestone has a typical yellowish color, and you know when it is chemically weathered and other minerals are mixed into the weathering product, it leaves behind a distinctive brown soil.
Like this
here.
one.
Yeah, like this one. So you notice that the people living here, they broke up. This driveway used to be filled up with solid limestone. They just carved it out.
But this one is different.
And the rocks, well, yes,
That's,
we have over here.
that's different. It's not lime. No?
No, yeah, because well, of course, in places here, they had to they had to use cement to cover it up. Where they did. So, and some of the cement broke off, and then they used that as well. But you see here, so that entire side of the mountain where you have so many houses is still made of limestone, and you can see that over there they are quarrying, they are removing material there. You see it's made of the same yellow and brown colors that we have over here. Yeah, and you'll notice also that in this hillside there's a plant that dominates. Oh wait, oh yeah. Well, you see
Yellow, the yellow.
you see the trace.
It's everywhere.
I'm not sure if that's a kind of plant, but there's a plant that favors soil that's derived from limestone, and in places where there has been no artificial planting of alien species of plants, you can tell what the underlying rocks are based on
the plant.
distribution of those plants that favor limestone.
Oh, I see.
Yes, I'm
What
not sure
kind
if that,
of plant is that?
I'm not sure if this is the one.
I think
But
so.
if you go to limestone and marble quarries in Teresa Marble,
Yeah.
in Rizal, there's this plant that dominates it, because it's the plant that favors, because the chemical nature of the soil favors this plant.
I see. So it is indicative.
Yeah, but of course you have to verify that. Because many geologists they use satellite imagery for that,
Yeah.
and then but of course you have to confirm it on the ground.
Yeah. So you
Because
do.
for all you know, the boundaries may not be exact. That's what they do. Anyway, here, what are the properties of limestone? Limestone is easily dissolved by acid. So, limestone exposed in nature can slowly be dissolved by acid in rain, because rain is not pure water.
Yeah.
You have rain.
Acid rain.
Yeah, you have H2O reacting with carbon dioxide in the
Yeah.
atmosphere to produce weak carbonic acid. Although it's a weak acid, given enough time, like hundreds, thousands of years, you're going to have eventual dissolution of limestone. Now, not all limestones are dissolved at equal rates, or form cracks with equal rates. Because we have a type of limestone whereupon you form small individual crystals, but and then the crystals the individual crystals are arranged randomly with regard to one another. So although each individual crystal may be soft, the rock as a whole is hard. So this microcrystalline form of limestone, although it can easily be dissolved by acid, when you try to apply force on it, it won't break apart as easily as this kind of limestone that we see over here.
When you're talking about crystals,
We're talking about
combination of.
we're talking about atoms and molecules forming forming specific arrangements. That's how atoms and molecules of calcium carbonate are arranged in a precise pattern to form a crystal. Yeah.
Okay.
So now, anyway, again, so Baguio, as I was mentioning inside in the coaster, both Baguio and Bohol are underlain by limestone, and Baguio has had cases of small sinkholes in near Santo Tomas. I think in the Santo Tomas region there have been a couple of small sinkholes, but it hasn't received the attention that Bohol has.
What's a sinkhole?
A sinkhole happens is when the ground literally opens up underneath you and you're swallowed up.
Wow.
Underneath a sinkhole is a fracture or a fissure or a cave.
That's what makes it a sink.
Yeah, because the limestone is so thin, it can no longer bear the weight of
What's on top,
structures that
yeah.
humans built on top of it.
So it just moves.
So the more houses you have on a thin layer
Layer of limestone.
then the sooner that is going to give way.
Fracture.
So the reason why we had sinkholes in Bohol, and the reason why we had a small sinkhole in the Mount Santo Tomas area is because the limestone underneath it is already partly hollow.
Oh,
So the
it's
sinkholes are
stable.
merely the areas where you have where it is weakest because of the added burden of the structures built on top of it.
Yeah.
And in the construction of these are individual houses. This is not
Yes.
part of subdivision.
Yeah.
Do they comply with the safety requirement as Geo was talking about?
In
Yeah.
an ideal world, they should. In an ideal world.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Wala, there's no laws
In reality,
for individual houses.
yeah. But they should there should at least be some advice from the architects and engineers. Of course, there is some basic knowledge about building on a slope, but that's different from building on top of limestone. Because building on a slope made up of volcanic rock is different from building on a slope made out of limestone. Because
We have a lot of limestone in Perth, in Western Australia.
Perth, okay.
We have a lot of limestone.
Okay.
And when people build a home,
Yes.
it's not on the hills though. The limestone's not on hills. It's on flatland.
okay.
Yeah,
near
big
the ocean.
flat land.
Near the ocean.
near the ocean.
So when you build near an ocean, you might buy the land, and you make a deal with someone who's going to build a home for you.
Yeah.
Right. But they say, right, when we're going to build, there might be an extra cost in case we hit limestone.
Yeah.
And on the coast,
Oh, okay.
of course, when they hit limestone, the price goes right up because
Yes, it
it
does.
takes a lot to dig it out
Precisely.
for the foundations. for the
Stabilize the
home.
foundation.
Yeah.
So
It depends on how brittle the limestone is, and an additional factor for you is if your limestone is fractured and it's in a coastal area, you could have seawater seeping
in.
through the fractures, and if it meets up with your fresh water source, you're going to have salinization of your local water.
Okay.
That's a possibility.
Yes. I never thought of that.
and
that could happen.
the city government does not do
For
anything
Baguio?
about the possible problem. Already it's a problem, but
Yes.
there is no.
Well, let's just hope that Bohol serves as a wake-up call.
Yes.
So you're saying that the Baguio officers, LGUs, local government officers, should take note of that and come up with
You know
the
what?
necessary
You know, sir.
building code for
Yeah,
these
precisely.
places.
And the MGB is one of the member agencies of the NDRRMC.
Yeah.
National
Disaster.
NDRRMC. National Disaster Risk Reduction Management
Council.
Council, yes.
which includes us, the MGB, where our focus is on rain-induced landslides. We have FIVOX for volcano and earthquake hazards. We have PAG-ASA for weather hazards, including floods. And so, we come up with programs to provide information to the local communities and to the officials. So, but we're hoping it's not a case where you attend it for 1 week and then the next week you forget about it. You're supposed to apply what you learned.
Yeah.
Hopefully, there's a very
In
tragic,
advance,
There's a very tragic example of when it was not heeded.
like Bohol.
There's another case. Yung sa Pepeng, yung little Kibungan. Okay, now I think you might have heard of how Ondoy hit Metro Manila, and then
Yeah.
a week after Ondoy, Pepeng followed. Although Pepeng was more to the north, and Baguio was I think the Benguet was Pepeng traveled directly over Benguet. So people already knew. The NDC as the NDRC was then named,
Okay.
went here to Baguio. They had an emergency conversation with the local
Yeah.
government officials, and one of my colleagues in MGB went to this barangay in yung Trinidad, the vegetable center. They went up to Little Kibungan Barangay. They told the barangay chairman they already did a landslide evaluation there, and it is at high susceptibility for landslides. We even put up a warning sign: do not build anything here, do not build any pump structures here, do not stay here, do not live here.
But what happened?
Well, when Pepe was approaching, they told the barangay chairman, evacuate your villagers. And
They did not.
To his credit, he heeded our pleas. He sent out a call. He sent out an evacuation call. Many of them
Refused.
complied,
Yes.
but many refused.
As usual.
So when Pepeng hit, it Baguio and Trinidad, this whole area was deluged with rain. And what
Yeah.
happened in Little Kibungan, the slope was saturated with rain
Yeah.
until the weight was too much. The whole mountainside, it just gave way as a mudslide debris flow, and
Okay.
much of Little Kibungan was buried, and the people who stayed there,
Oh, where's
they
Kibungan?
lost their lives. Little Kibungan, you should ask our driver, because last night he took me there, and it was
it's
too
here.
dark. It was too dark for me. It's in Trinidad, not in Baguio. Trinidad.
Trinidad.
He took me there, but it was already night, so I could not see how it was. But from the little daylight that I saw, I could see here's the road. Then there's a yawning chasm next to it,
Yeah.
because the removal of material caused the valley to inch closer to the road.
Uh-huh.
So I was getting a bit of
So it's
goosebumps.
moving. It's
Yeah.
I was
moving.
getting some goosebumps when
Yeah.
when the driver pointed, when Kuya Bote pointed to me, this is Little Kibungan where the Pepeng landslide occurred, where people lost their lives.
Okay.
And he said that,
How many people?
I don't know, I forgot. But anyway, Kuya Bote told me this is a spot where sometimes when drivers pass by, they see people from their rearview mirrors. But when they look directly, there's no one there.
Oh dear me.
Oh. They're ghosts, supposed to be ghosts.
According to the locals, it's a spirit of the people who died during the landslide.
Uh-huh.
That's what they say.
Okay.
If you drive there at night, and then you look, and then there are people, and you see people from your rear view mirror, and if you look directly, if you turn and look directly, you don't see anyone. Supposedly
Okay.
that's them.
Oh my God.
So
Is that a sea or a
Yeah,
cloud?
it is.
which one, sir?
That's a sea.
No,
It's a cloud.
yeah, that's just, or the haze or whatever. That's not
haze.
the sea. Okay.
Okay,
Now,
you go now?
again, this is fossil bearing. I don't know if you can see some recognizable fossils here,
Fossils.
but this limestone has fossils. I forgot to tell you that when geologists study an area for the first time to
Uh-huh.
know what kinds of rocks here, how old they are, how these rocks are, rated, which is on top of which, and that sort of stuff. You have to give each rock unit a name, of course.
Uh-huh. For identification
Yeah,
purposes.
and yes, precisely. And the normal practice is you name it after the area where you first took a piece of that rock, and that area becomes the type locality for the entire rock formation. So, this limestone
something
here,
like sampling.
this limestone here, the limestone underlying Baguio, we call it the Mirador limestone, named after Mirador Hill in Baguio City, because it is in Mirador Hill where the first limestone samples were taken from and analyzed.
Yeah.
So Mirador Hill gave its name to the limestone. Hence,
So it's now Mirador
Where
limestone.
the Lourdes Grotto is.
yes.
Yeah, you see?
Mirador.
The Lourdes Grotto is on Mirador Hill.
Oh.
It is made up of lime.
Greg, watch
So
out for the
these are fossils here. There are some
He showed me, Dr. Aguilar showed me some
cylindrical
fossils.
objects
yeah.
here. Parang pabilog na sila, parang tube, mga branches ng corals yun.
talaga.
This is coralline.
Fossilized.
This is
So
coralline.
when you
This is
say
marine.
coral, it means just to be
There,
under
Baguio
the
used-
sea.
Under the sea, yeah.
sea.
under the sea.
And it was uplifted here. It was uplifted to its current altitude.
Uh-huh.
So,
This used to be under the sea.
yeah.
Yeah.
How many
Baguio.
meters below the sea?
We don't know, but it is deep enough to form corals, but not too deep that there's no more sunlight, that you don't have the creation of corals anymore, because corals only thrive,
When there is sun.
yeah,
Sunlight.
above in the photic zone
What,
of the sea.
what's
We call it the photic zone,
Photic.
Photo light.
Yeah, where sunlight still manages to penetrate down. So below that, you don't have a coral formation. It can't be too deep. But even so, because we are
When
now,
you say it can be too deep,
We're
how
over a
many meters
kilometer.
approximately?
we're over.
Photic zone nga.
It depends on
Yeah,
the
how many
clarity of
meters?
the water,
Depends.
diba?
Oo, yeah.
Pero we're over a kilometer above the sea, so
maybe
what used to
100,
be what used to
100
be
meters.
what used to be a reef
100 meters. Wala
Something like that.
lifted more than a kilometer up from the waves, and it became present-day Baguio City. So imagine all of Baguio,
Being under the sea.
Tuba and Trinidad, underneath the sea. Imagine it as a reef complex.
What happened?
There are many forces that brought the Philippines up.
Yeah.
One of them is the
Volcanic?
gradual build-up of mountains due to volcanic activity. The other is due to the active tectonic nature of the Philippines, where we have Asia and the Pacific squeezing us. So while they are squeezing us, we have no choice but to go up. We are being squeezed in between Asia,
And-
the Philippine sea plate, the Philippine plate, and the Eurasian plate. We are being squeezed in between them. We have nowhere to go but up. As we are
Better up
they
than
are,
down.
they are diving underneath us, and the effect of that is to uplift us, because you have molten rock being pushed up, and then the eruptions create volcanoes.
Yeah.
And then the other process is we have the forces that are compressing us are pushing us upwards.
I see.
Either pwedeng nabibiyak siya, pwedeng ganun po, pwedeng mabiyak. So merong kalahati na paakit-kati pababa, or because of folding. So you can have horizontal
Movements.
you can have horizontal layers of rock.
Yeah.
You have forces compressing them. If they behave in a plastic manner, these horizontal layers can bend and fold. But once you're past once you've applied too much pressure and you can no longer bend them, that's
Yeah.
when they start to break.
To break and then go up.
So there's another way. Either they can rise in elevation by bending or by breaking.
And Bohol, some
Raymond, how old
parts.
is this Mirador limestone?
Well, geologically speaking, it's still young. But what is young for geologic terms is very, 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 very extremely
Yes.
old for humans.
How many thousands of
How
years?
many millions of
We're not
years?
talking about thousands of years, sir.
We're talking of.
We're talking of millions of
Millions.
years.
Yeah.
Okay. Mirador is Miocene. So ang Miocene is when?
Miocene.
Naalala mo?
Miocene?
The Miocene epoch is what? How many to how many?
I believe it is 5 to 7 million years old.
Pliocene na yun, di ba?
No, Pliocene,
Miocene
2 million.
Yeah,
Two
yun.
to something.
Miocene is
Around
one-
5 to 7 million years old.
and
No,
Pliocene.
Because
15 to
may
5.
15 to 5, okay.
15 to
yeah.
5.
Kasi may
15 to 5.
lower and
May lower and upper Miocene.
Lower
but it's
and upper,
Miocene, so
yeah.
still quite young.
Okay,
I mean,
yeah.
50
Okay.
million years is 50 million years is young in terms of the age of the total age of the Earth. It's quite young. But as we travel down Asin Road, we will be traveling through older and older sequences of rocks.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's about it.
Yeah.
Kaya the Ifugaos can build the terraces, no? Because it's limestone.
Oh, yeah, oh, yeah.
Yung bangka, yung amba namin,
Pwede
ba't terrace,
lang.
ano pa rin? Here, oh.
It's not solid rock.
Yes.
Miocene. Okay, ito pala.
Okay, yeah.
Can I have a
Miocene
copy of
is...
that?
22 to 5. Malaki.
Okay, 5, yeah. 22 to 5.
Ayun, no, reef limestone, no? Nakalagay dito. See?
Yeah. Very good.
Okay. After this, we go to where?
We will be leaving by the limestone, but I'll try to look for a fossil for you.
Okay,
I'll try
yeah,
to find a
nice.
fossil.
Wala bang permanent fossil na dito lang? Oo.
I'll try to find a fossil.
These are what you say.
Dito kasi ay itong yung ating limestone dito, nagfo-form siya ng mga successive layers.
Okay.
So in between the layers, medyo may zone of weakness. So ito yung dito mas mabilis na natutunaw yung limestone.
This is what you have been explaining earlier.
Ito
The,
po.
the liquefaction.
No, liquefaction
Is
occurs.
different?
No, liquefaction it occurs in areas na yung buhangin hindi pa compressed o compacted.
So
Hindi,
it's loose.
Ito naman po matigas siya, oh. Pero nakita nyo, this particular kind of limestone, this outcrop, di ba, meron siyang, it forms horizontally. Actually, originally horizontal to. Pero because of forces, tilted na siya, tagilid na ito, sir. Ganyan na siya. So, eto, mga fossils natin dito.
You're actually looking for puzzles.
Yeah. Ito, here. Ito, medyo malabo dito, pero this is a cross section of a coral branch. Di ba meron mga corals na branching corals? Ito yung cross section niya.
Hindi ka friable.
It's friable. In fact, ayaw ko nang magtanggal kasi baka magalit yung mga nakatira dyan eh. Like, ba't ka nagbabawasan ng bato namin?
Oo nga.
Sa umpisa, mukhang hindi siya limestone kasi itim eh. Pero kasi syempre, because of chemical reaction tsaka yung leach and mold, yung yellow niya natatakpan ng itim, ng gray.
But if
Pero yung gray niya, iba rin sa gray ng volcanic rock eh.
Is this government property?
Ay, hindi na pa ata, private na po ito ata eh.
Private.
Ah.
Okay, let's
So,
go.
asan
Okay.
yung cross-section yan? Ano yan? That's
Yun
a
yung
fossil.
may
Ito.
brown.
Coral branch?
Wait, let me look at this.
Oh, malaki.
Oh, wait a minute. No.
That's a shell, right? No?
Teka, wait.
No.
Baka yung interior ng shell. Yeah. When we were doing our undergraduate field work, summer geology, yung kasama ko, we went to the Pugo River sa Marcos Highway. Tapos siya nakapulot ng snail siya, ganyan kalaki. Siya, ng marine
Fossil.
shell. Fossil.
Okay.
Nangito ko sa kanya, hindi siya yung mahilig sa paleo, hindi siya mahilig sa fossil, siya pa yung nakakita, imbis na ako. Nangito ko sa kanya. Yung kung na baka